Good morning, everybody. It's so good to see all of you. Today is so many things, but let me start it by just reflecting on something Linda just wrote. She wrote, Shana Tova, good morning, kind souls. Now, some of you know because you've been part of our community since the very beginning, which is a long time ago. Linda is the one who called us kind souls, and so a lot of us have adopted that language when we welcome each other. And so today, Linda wrote, good morning, kind souls, a doubling of language. In the Torah, you call that a kefel lashon. In fact, an emphasis of those words. And what's really powerful when you look at the meanings of Rosh HaShannah is, yes, it's the creation of the world, but it actually marks, according to rabbinic understanding, the day that human beings were created. And on that day, God noticed and said, Hinei tov me'od. It was really good. It was very good. And so not only are we kind souls, starting today, we double down on kindness. Today is kind souls coming together. Thank you, Linda, for making sure that we never forget that most crucial essence of being a mensch, of being a human being. I'm so thrilled in a million ways to acknowledge my amazing wife, who is with us in community today, in the other room commenting as if she's very far away, because for the last 2.5 days through Rosh HaShannah, Neshama was a chazan. Neshama led tefillot for Rosh HaShannah and Yom Kippur, and while she has had a storied career as a wisdom teacher and performer and entertainer and musician, this was her first time leading services for Rosh Hashanah, and it will be the first time for Yom Kippur at Glen Rock Jewish Center with our friend, our teacher, and Neshama's clergy partner, Rabbi Jennifer Schlossberg. Neshama came back glowing, not only because of the power of being in community as a servant, as a cantor must be, but also because she was basking in the wisdom that Rabbi Schlossberg shared. And she came back sharing some of it, and I found it so profound. I wove it in a little Havdalah candle for myself with the wisdom that I gained from my clergy partners, because I was also serving as a guest cantor elsewhere in New Jersey with Rabbi Jesse Olitsky and Rabbi Rachel Martyr at Bethel in South Orange, New Jersey. So we came back sharing the Torahs we learned from our rabbis. It's been very sweet. So I want to share some of what Neshama brought back from Rabbi Schlossberg, which was, among many different essences of this Torah, a reflection on what the day after Rosh HaShannah, or rather, the day after the Akedah, the binding of Isaac, which we read on the second day of Rosh HaShannah. According to Rabbi Schlossberg, among the hardest parts of the Akedah, of the binding of Isaac, was Avram's lonely walk back down the mountain. Because in fact, the Torah says in Breshit, in Genesis, that Avram and Yitzchak, Abraham and Isaac, walked up the mountain together, but Abraham came down alone. And the rabbis interpret where Isaac must have gone, and of course, simply using our human souls, our broken hearts when we talk about this story, to understand that there is no walking together after that. There is no walking together after that. Avram must have done so much introspection after that terrible experience. What has his life been? What must his life become? And in fact, when you couple that with other observations, not only that Rabbi Schlossberg made and Neshama brought to me, but really our human hearts in this experience of this Rosh Hashanah, I really hope for you that you had a return to life, that you felt community joyfully jumping. All I can say is that in the 2 shuls that Neshama and I were blessed to be part of for these Chagim, there was energy. There was a return. Now, not everyone was comfortable being physically present, and some people were wearing masks, but there was an energy. There were hundreds of people in the sanctuary where I was, and people streaming in, and there were people, hundreds of people, children and families in the hallways, in the tent, in the social hall. There was life, and I've seen reports from colleagues, rabbis, cantors, presidents, all of us, lay leaders, chairs of the High Holiday experience, who brought so much back to our community. I can't help but cry to have felt the life of our people, our heartbeat again. And I pray that that's true for all people of every tradition. I'm sure that some of us felt this power because sweet souls like Linda brought the prayers of the Kotel back to Florida and to New Jersey and to New York and to Wyoming and California. We took good care of each other. Friends, without the kind of work that so many of us have done through these 2.5 difficult years, where would we be? But given where we were just these last 2.5 days, look where we get to be again, in each other's arms. Harmony came back. I heard people singing. In fact, in the middle, my friend, my rabbi that I got to work with, one of the rabbis I got to work with, Rabbi Olitsky, pointed to hit the notes in his machzor, his High Holiday prayer book. We keep on taking notes together, preparing each year. And he said, the note here on this page, it was V'yetayu, if you know. It's a great jumping melody that I learned from Rabbi Julia Handelman. He says his note was, jump in the aisle and dance. So he introduced V'yetayu by saying, jump in the aisle and dance. And friends were jumping and singing and dancing with their family. And we just need that. And we have that. And children were present for shofar. And there were harmonies and familiar melodies and new melodies and good meals. This is the year that harmony came back. This is the year we've been praying for. Is everything settled? Of course not. Is there tremendous work to do? Is there still worry in the air? Yes. There always has been worry in the air. But this is the year we decided that coming together safely, mindfully, and with strength and love and joy, it was possible again. Because of so much of the work that we've done during these last 3 years, we got to hear shofar again. The quivering notes, the shvarim, the brokenness, the truah, the staccato short notes that were just each an exclamation point. The bleeding of BLEATING, the bleeding of the ram, which is a replacement for our own hearts. It was all in the air this year. Some of us tuned in, and so many of us showed up, and please God, Kain Yirbu. The day after the Akedah is where you and I are now, except we didn't leave each other behind at the top of the mountain. We have been through so much. We have been through trauma and separateness, but we are done with that. We are claiming with every ounce of strength we've got each other. We're not judging each other for the pace with which we are returning. People who wear masks, people who are taking their time, people who are nervous, we love you. I love you. No judgment, only embrace in all of the ways we've learned to these years. But friends, there is no replacement for being side by side in a shul. And we have missed each other. I couldn't help but sing a few lines of the psalm that we recite from the beginning of Elul, the month before Rosh HaShannah. It's Psalm 27. And I went back into the sanctuary for the first time a year and a half ago, and I just broke down crying. It's not that God isn't in my home, and God isn't at this desk, in these zeros and ones that we share that connect us. It's not that God isn't making that gorgeous tree bloom, and in the fall change color, and in the heavens, and in the eyes of my family, in the voices that we share when we talk to each other. In all these incessant Zooms, God is present. Of course God is present in all these things. But friends, sanctuaries are meant to be intensified, intentional experiences of the divine, shared in community. There is an experience of God beyond the self. Happy birthday, Minna, to your youngest grandson. The lines from Psalm 27 that I couldn't help but sing every time and cry through every time was my simplest desire, Achat sha'alti, me'et Adonai ota avakesh. I'm just asking for one thing, achat sha'alti, ota avakesh. That's what I'm asking for. Shivti beveit Adonai kol yamei chayai. I just want to sit in God's house. Now, because of the beautiful intention that we bring to our homes, God's house is everywhere. Because of the tending to our planet we continue to devote ourselves to and must do more about. This whole planet is God's home. But friends, Shul is a place where we collectively pray, where we yearn, where we cry, where we mourn, where we celebrate, where we see our children grow, where we celebrate our aging friends. There's a beautiful club at my shul in Mamaroneck where I go as a member, which is such a sweet privilege. It's called the Joy Club, just older youth. That's all we are, right? So friends, the day after the Akedah, the day after heartbreak, how's your heart? One of the first things my stepson asked me when I came into his life, which was among the greatest blessings I've ever experienced, was, Menachem, how's your heart? So in his name, I'm asking all of you, the day after the Akedah, the day after Rosh HaShannah, how's your heart? I don't imagine life is going to suddenly be steady. It's not what life is like. How's your heart? If I could invite you, I don't want to tell anyone to do anything, but if I could invite you to take your hand and place it on your heart. You are alive. Shehechianu. We made it. Do we take that for granted? Of course not. Will we ever slow down in our work to take care of ourselves, each other, and the world? Of course not. But the day after Rosh Hashanah, we get a new year. We get to fill it with goodness, with justice, with kindness, with love. So friends, with this beating heart and all of the experiences we've been through, I want to invite you to give yourself the gift of your own heartbeat, your own awareness of your heartbeat. You are here. We are here. I am so aware in a few moments of the prayers that I was helping lead, of the fragility of life and of being called. So I just want to say that in these moments, some of us use the word God, some of us pray in one way, some of us pray in another, some of us maybe don't pray in conventional ways, but we go and we know that there's a world beyond the self. There's one phrase in the Hineni which only the Chazan recites. It's a strange moment because in every Jewish prayer, almost every single Jewish prayer, it's in the collective. Redemption is not an individual experience in Jewish tradition. It's only collective. Goaleinu, redeems us. And in fact, our fates are woven when we, on Yom Kippur, some of us clap our hearts, some of us tend to our hearts like this. Asham knew we did wrong. It's always collective. But Hineni is an individual moment. And the tradition has that the person who's leading says, I'm not worthy of this moment. But I want to bless us with the opposite of that. Because it isn't actually self-negation. The person who's called as Chazan to recite Hineni has to recite what comes next. And so it's actually humility, not self-negation. It's not that I'm not worthy. It's that I know that the blessings of my life are far greater than anything I could possibly earn. We call that grace, chen. Every moment of our life, every heartbeat is a blessing bigger than we could ask. But let's ask it anyway. So friends, the day after Rosh HaShannah, this year is the year that harmony comes home. And so do we. And by home, I mean into each other's lives again. So bless you, bless all of us, for having created a community that will endure, that is self-sustaining, that is a gift one to the other, where we don't leave anyone behind. And we learn what it is to do the first part of the Akedah, but toward health. Vayelchu shnehem yachdav. We walk together. I can't wait for everything that is to come, because you and I are going to go together through it. I'm so excited for the year to come. I'm so privileged to be in this community and to meet some of us one at a time, because you never know who's part of a community that keeps on showing up and keeps on growing. So health, friends, safety, a year of goodness for you and for yours, for our communities and for the world. Here we go. Bless you, friends. See you tomorrow. Take care.